1, 2, 3, 4.
Breathe in deeply. Stoke the fire that is the spirit of the God that burns within. Breathe out slowly. Release all the exhaust that we've built up in fighting the good fight. Stand in our power. Sit with our purpose. Feel the vibration of our presence. Let us radically realign any and everything that is off center. Let the healing that comes from that realignment become contagious throughout our city and the entire Chicagoland area. We are here today to celebrate Black folks, to commemorate our freedom through the recognition of Juneteenth, to collaborate as a community, to usher in a destiny authored by the Most High, to grow into a crown that symbolizes our royalty, our resilience, and our readiness for the moment. We are here today to give thanks. We are here today to remember. We are here today to make way. We are here today to create anew. Let us begin. My name is Tujo Joseph, also known as TJ Crawford. I am a number of things, but I am today a proud member of the Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition, and I happen to be your MC for today. So let's give ourselves a round of applause for being here today. We've got a full and robust program, so I'm not gonna take too much of our time. Y'all know the city got a quick hook when it comes to these events, but that hook will not take us out of the spirit of what we are here for today. To honor, to remember, to celebrate, and to know where it is that we are going to know where it is where we are, and to know where it is which we have come. So after I take my seat, we will have an opening prayer and libation by Reverend Dr. Ebony D. Only. We will have remarks by my brother David Peterson, who will bring up those that we are honoring today, Carol Johnson, Cassopia Makans, and Pimone Rammy. And we will have a musical performance by a musical performance of I Am by Unique McNeil. And I'll be back a little bit later to continue us on our agenda. So without further ado, is Dr. Ebony here? Dr. Ebony Only.
We gather today in sacred remembrance and profound celebration as the city of Chicago raises the Juneteenth flag. Raises the Juneteenth flag in honor of freedom and liberation. We thank the Honorable Mayor Brandon Johnson for his leadership in recognizing this sacred day. And we thank Dr. Carla Coopy, Chief Equity Officer of our great city, for her dedication to advancing equity and justice in our beloved city. We call upon the ancestors whose names we know and those whose names have been lost to time. We honor those who walked this earth before us, those who dreamed of this day, who planted seeds they would never see bloom. On this day of this flag raising, we remember June 19th, 1865, when the news of emancipation finally reached the enslaved people of Texas, marking the end of slavery in the United States. Honored elders, keepers of our wisdom and tradition, we ask first for your permission to begin this sacred ceremony. Thank you, Elder. May we have your blessing to pour libation in remembrance of our ancestors and to honor this day of Juneteenth in the manner that is pleasing to those who came before us. We thank you, elders, for granting us permission to proceed with this sacred act of remembrance. As we pour this libation, we remember that the water connects life. That water connects all life just as our bloodlines connect us to our ancestors. Water is like memory. It flows through time, carrying stories from shore to shore, from generation to generation. We pour these sacred waters for the ancestors, for those who lived and died in bondage, for those never knowing that freedom would come, for those who crossed the waters against their will, for those who never made it across, and for those whose bones rest at the bottom of the Atlantic. We pour libation in remembrance. Ashe. For the ancestors who survived until that glorious day of June 19th, 1865. For those who heard the news of those who resisted. For those who danced for freedom. For those who ran away. For those who fought back. For those who created community. For those who kept our traditions when everything was taken, we pour this libation in gratitude. Ashe. For those who built new lives in freedom, including right here in Chicago. For the great migration ancestors who traveled north seeking opportunity. For the land that received their blood, their sweat, and their tears. We pour libation seeking continued progress and justice. Ashe. We honor our ancestors who survived the Middle Passage and bondage, who never surrendered their humanity, who passed down songs of freedom in whispers, who carved pathways toward liberation with bloodied hands. We honor the ancestors who built great civilizations along the Nile, Nigeria, and Congo, whose innovations in agriculture, mathematics, and astronomy and art form the foundation of human knowledge that benefits all of us today. We honor those who received word of freedom on June 19, 1865, who celebrated in the streets when the news finally came, who understood that freedom was not just the end of bondage, but the beginning of possibility. We honor those who came to Chicago during the Great Migration, who carried Southern wisdom to our northern city, who created vibrant communities like Bronzeville despite redlining and violence, who insisted on dignity when dignity was denied. We honor our Chicago justice warriors, Ida B. Wells Barnett, who made this city her home and documented terror while demanding accountability. Fred Hampton, who organized for justice right here in Chicago. Tamil Black, who chronicled our city's Black history and fought for civil rights. On this day, we raise this flag. We acknowledge that freedom delayed is freedom denied, that it took 2.5 years for the news of emancipation to reach all enslaved people, that even after June 19, 1865, the struggle for true freedom and equality continued. We acknowledge that here in Chicago, we continue that struggle, that what we seek today is not charity, but justice, not handouts, but the full realization that freedom that Juneteenth represents. Today, as the city raises this flag, today as our great city of Chicago raises this Juneteenth flag, we declare we are our ancestors' wildest dreams. We acknowledge that the full freedom and equality, that road is long, but our ancestors taught us how to walk it with purpose. As this flag rises above our great cities, we invoke their wisdom as we continue their work. We channel their courage as we speak truth to power. We embody their resilience as we build new systems. We honor their sacrifices by refusing to settle for less than what justice demands. Now I invite each of you to call on your own ancestors into this sacred space. In our tradition, to speak a name is to bring that spirit into the present. I invite that as a collective, we name 3 ancestors. They may be your blood relatives, they may be your community elders who have passed on, or historical figures whose legacy has shaped our path and our city. As each name is spoken, we will respond together by saying Ashe. Let their power be present. I will begin by calling the name of Rufus Fontainelle. Ashe. 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 Ancestors named and unnamed, known and unknown, we feel your presence among us today. As this Juneteenth flag rises over the city of Chicago, guide our words, sharpen our vision, strengthen our resolve. May we be worthy of your legacy. May we create a world where your descendants can finally breathe. On this day, we recommit ourselves to the work of justice and liberation. May the work we do in Chicago reverberate these states we desire to be united. May the work we do in Chicago be a blueprint for the world. May the work we do in Chicago honor your sacrifices and bring us closer to the beloved community you envisioned. Ashe, amen, and so it is.
The Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition is proud to partner with the mayor of the city of Chicago, and we are a group of Black Americans from across Chicagoland that are descendants of families who survived U.S. chattel slavery. Our group was formed in 2019 to establish and preserve Juneteenth as a holiday. Our steering committee is made up of individuals and organizations that have a demonstrated commitment to the health and well-being of the Black community and who have either led or participated in Juneteenth activities for more than a decade. In 2021, we officially named our coalition and expanded citywide, where a major part of our work has been determining the best ways to truly honor those whose ancestors gave their lives and contributed so much to the development of this country. Although Juneteenth is primarily focused on African Americans, we believe that anyone in this nation who has benefited from centuries of forced labor or the formerly enslaved should acknowledge and support Juneteenth in our efforts. The Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition cultivates culturally competent and family-friendly events, and we create space for the population impacted by the legacy of slavery to commune and address our ongoing needs. And in that spirit, I want to bring up Dr. David Peterson Jr., Pullman Porter Museum President, to kick off the recognition of our honorees. Please welcome David to the stage, to the microphone.
Great morning, everybody. Do I have permission from my elders to speak? If I do, say ashe. Thank you so much for being here. First and foremost, thank you to the grand architect of the universe, the God Almighty, for allowing us all to be here. Thank you to the people of the city council, the mayor, for putting this together, helping us put this together. And thank you for all of you all for taking your time to be out here. Today we're here to celebrate some freedom fighters, some change agents, and some wonderful people in the community. I'm President and Executive Director of the National A. Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum, a 30-year-old cultural institution that is honoring 100 years of the legacy of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters this year. In that spirit, I want to make sure that it's understood that let the pathways that we create today of information serve as the portals of our economic fate in perpetuity. And with that being said, I just want to take a very, very personal time to acknowledge the people on this stage with me right now. I've had the privilege, pleasure, and honor of watching you all selflessly give of yourself time and time again in the community, Cassopia, in the world of business, in the world of preserving our history, heritage, and culture. Thank you. Brother Pimone Rammy, your ability to preserve our history, heritage, and culture through cultural economic development in the arts community and the film community, thank you. Sister Carol Johnson, for your selfless work on the west side of Chicago and throughout the city, building community, engaging in community engagement, and making sure that our history, heritage, and culture is preserved, thank you. And from the bottom of my heart and from the depths of my soul, I want you all to know that your work is not unrecognized, and we appreciate you. The community needs you, and we will continue to stand on your shoulders as people who have set this way for us. Thank you.
So without further ado, we want to call up our first honoree, the elder of our steering committee, Ms. Carol Johnson.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Carol G. Johnson. Today the G stands for grateful. I am the founder of the West Side Cultural Alliance and also the founder of the 1865 Fest. First of all, I would like to thank Mayor Brandon Johnson and his staff for allowing us just to have this opportunity and continuing the legacy of Juneteenth. I would be remiss if I don't speak about the ancestors and the shoulders that I stand on. One of the reasons why I'm here is because of a young man from the West Side, and his name was Ricky Brown Sr. Anybody that's on the West Side know that Ricky was an advocate for Juneteenth. He had a vision that he laid out for some of us, and I was able to sit under his leadership and continue the legacy. One of the things that he always talked about was making Juneteenth a holiday, not only a city holiday, but a state and federal holiday. By the grace of God, he was able to still be alive when that happened. Another vision that he had for us was also what we call a Juneteenth festival in Garfield Park. And the reason why Garfield Park was so crucial, because Garfield Park on the west side is kind of the center of the park. You have Douglas, you have Humboldt, but Garfield was the center of the west side of Chicago. So that was very important for him to have a festival in Garfield Park. I'm here to say that we continue that festival called the 1865 Fest. It's a 3-day celebration in Garfield Park, and one of the visions for him was to raise the Juneteenth flag in Garfield Park. We were able to raise the Juneteenth flag in Garfield in 2018, and so he was able to see that vision come to pass. Another vision that was spoke about under his leadership was opening what we call a cultural corridor on the west side of Chicago, from Chicago Avenue and Cicero to Austin. Again, that's one of the visions that is starting to come to pass. And the last legacy that he talked about was to have a cultural center on the west side of Chicago. And my mission as part of the Juneteenth Chicago Planning Coalition, and I want to thank the Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition for allowing me to be the elder on the committee as well. But my vision is to continue his legacy to help build a culture center. My vision now as an elder is to impart it to the younger generation, to tell the stories of our history, to never forget where we came from. We have to understand where we came from in order to move forward. And so I challenge each and every last one of you to tell those stories to your children. Talk about the ancestor. Talk about the history, because those stories will be passed on from generation to generation. That's one thing we have to do as a culture and as a race. We have to tell our stories about our history. And with that, I thank you all so much for allowing me to just stand before you as an elder, and I appreciate every last one of you. I love my community, I love my city. My 4 things I have is the 4 C's. I love Chicago, community, collaboration, and culture. And thank you so much.
To the elders in the room, may I speak? I don't know, I was a little shaky. Thank you. I first want to say, Adupwe Ifa, Adupwe Olodumare, Adupwe our ancestors. What I just said is we give thanks to God. We give thanks to our ancestors. We know the word Ashe, which is like amen, so be it. Here's some new Yoruba words that come from the continent of Africa in the country of Nigeria. It's called Adupwe. It just says, we give thanks. And today, I just give so much thanks. I'm thankful for our ancestors. I'm thankful for the enslaved ancestors that suffered, that bled, that were brought here without their permission, forced here, lost their ways, lost their continent, lost their homeland, came here to create a whole new, amazing world that we benefit from right here today. I'm so thankful that they were able to endure so that we can be here today. And it just shows our strength. It just shows our beauty. I'm looking at it right now. I'm thankful to my mother for being such an activist, to being so true to our culture, to our pride, and being relentless to our own family, to our own community, to ensure that I grew up with the knowledge of African history, of Black history, of Chicago history, and to stand tall with so much pride. So I remember back in 2013 when I learned about Juneteenth. And I knew that no one up here in the North was celebrating it. And I said, we've got to do this. I got to do something about this. So my birthday is June 8th. So I decided, you know what? Instead of celebrating my birthday, I'm going to use it to celebrate Juneteenth. We know we all love to show up for birthdays, right? So I said, come on over to my house for my birthday. And 100 people came over. And when I had my birthday speech, I thanked our ancestors. I thanked our enslaved ancestors. And I asked all my family and friends that came out to make sure that they honored their ancestors, their grandmothers, their grandfathers, their great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers, because of them, we are here. And that grew and grew to Culture Connection, to collaborations with the National 8 Philip Randolph Pullman Porter Museum with Dr. David Peterson and Dr. Hughes, to DuSable Museum, to Dr. Carroll doing amazing and huge celebrations, to the Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition, and I'm just so proud. We've grown this thing to thousands and 10,000s of more people all over the city, and are the pioneers for a national holiday. Give it up, everybody. A federal holiday. So now I'm excited about the next level, and just seeing Juneteenth celebrations in everybody's backyards, just like that happens for that other celebration, correct? And us honoring our ancestors together is so important, to remember them and to remember the enslaved that we specifically lost during the Middle Passage. That's a very vital part. So when you reach out and you say those names, make sure that you say those names of the unknown that didn't even make it here. So before I go, I want to thank the City of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, the Chicago Juneteenth Planning Coalition, our honorees, Mama Carol, Brother Pimone, Baba Reeve, and fellows out here that's been doing this work for forever, Sister Africa, who's been out here doing this work forever, Brother Tudros on the stage, Sister Lucretia, Brother Brian, to Sister Tammy, to the whole coalition, Brother Mark Quinn, Alderman Hall, to all the officials out here that has been doing this work. You are not forgotten. To my own mother, to our mothers, to my husbands, DeAndre Meekins, Ifayemi Adesonye Awoyade, a priest of the Yoruba tradition, to our strong, beautiful children, all 7 of them blended and beautiful, and to our strong community. Again, my name is Cassopia Makans, co-founder of theblackmall.com and TBM 360, along with my beautiful husband, and I thank you.
My people, my people, my people. It is such a beautiful day. You know, it could be hot, it could be steamy, it could be raining, it could be doing anything, and you could be any place other than here, but we greatly appreciate the fact that you have come out. I want to just say good morning. Good morning to you, to all of my cherished friends, families, and the esteemed guests. As I stand here before you, I am overwhelmed with a profound sense of pride, gratitude, and joy to be included in the 5th annual Juneteenth raising of the flag, which celebrates the freedom of Black people. Receiving this recognition is a moment that encapsulates my career in edutainment, entertainment, and institution building. I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to Mayor Johnson, the City Council. I also want to sincerely thank my mentors, colleagues, members of the community, and most importantly, my family and loved ones. A special thanks to the Juneteenth Planning Coalition, Dr. David Peterson, and the Chicago Reparations Task Force. I must also thank my incredible wife and business partner, Masekwa Myers. On May 4th, 2025, we celebrated our 50th year of marriage. I'd also like to acknowledge our sons, Babatunde Takuma. Takuma is here in the house with me. I appreciate the fact that he is here, as well as our 13 grandchildren and our 5 great-grandchildren, who represent the legacy that we appreciate the most. Juneteenth, as has been mentioned, celebrates June 19th, 1865, when enslaved Black people in Galveston, Texas received the news that they were free. Now, no slave master was going to tell them. No evening news to spread the word. No Facebook, no TikTok. None of that. However, On June 18th, 1905, less than 40 years later, Mayor Johnson, what did Chicago do? We stepped up. The Pickens Theater was founded, the first black-owned theater in the United States. In 1910, William Foster opened the first black-owned film company in Chicago. Chicago stood up and became the linchpin for the first Black Arts Center, the first black museum, the first black hospital, the first black nursing home, the first black-owned insurance company, and the first health food store. Chicago has always stood up, has always showed out. I was born in Providence Hospital in the middle of Bronzeville. My mother graduated from DuSable. I attended Crispus Attucks as an elementary school, which was named after the first black man killed in the American Revolution, and to Wendell Phillips, named after an abolitionist. Now, my path was set. When you go to schools and you know the people that it was named after, and you remember the legacy that has placed you in the spot where you are now, you have to stand up. And Chicago, to me, has always been that. It has been a place of dreams. It has been what the Native Americans used to call the center of creativity. And we continue to look at that today. With the current attack on the arts, books, and black history, we must continue to tell our stories. My book entitled When Blackness Was Golden, Observations from the Front Line, is available at the Buddy Bookstore in the Cultural Center and all around the internet. You can get one if you want to pick it up, but it tells our story as we are responsible for telling our story, for maintaining the fact that we, in spite of everything that we have gone through, were resilient. We, in spite of everything, has constantly shown our brilliance and our creativity, and we continue to do that today. In conclusion, as we continue to move forward, let us remember our ancestors as warriors, ever striving to make a difference in our lives and in the world. Let us continue to support each other and aspire to heights even greater than we have today. There's a father and son having a conversation. And the son says to his father, "Daddy, you always tell me that the lion is the king of the jungle, yet in every book I read, the man always kills the lion. Daddy, why is that so?" So the father looked at the son and said, "Until the lion learns to write, the story will always end the same. Until we continue to tell our stories and demonstrate the fact that we did not come from a history of slaves. We came from a magnificent history of architects and engineers and teachers and parents and everything else that is represented in the world. I thank you for this recognition, and let's keep it moving on and keep it stepping up. Thank you."
Between the ghetto concrete, I am the spark in your brain, igniting change when I speak. I am ancient writing on the wall to help you remember. I am the statistic that you ignored and never considered. I am greatness, I am change, I am reality rearranged. I am the fire that burned it all down so that you can start it over. I am a universal force to be reckoned with. I'm a soldier. I am
Hello? Okay. I just said that this gave me goosebumps, so one more time for Miss Unique. This was great. All right, I have the honor of introducing our next speaker, Alderman of the 5th Ward, Alderman Yansi, who also will be serving as co-chair of the Reparations Task Force. So I'm very, very excited to welcome him here, along with other people that I see, Alderwoman Haddon, and I think I saw Harris somewhere as well. Thank you so much, and also all the commissioners and department heads that I see here. Thank you so much for being with us today. And without further ado, Alderman Yansi.
It's a celebration, y'all. Let's give it up. If you'll indulge me for a moment, we're going to do a little call and response, but I'm going to be brief because, you know, electeds like to talk a little bit. So say, I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am strong. I am resilient. And I am free. Before I get started, I want to honor my colleagues who are here. Where's my list? I see Cook County Commissioner Tara Stamps, City Treasurer Melissa Conyers-Irvin, Representative Kimberly Neely Dubaclay, and then members of the Chicago Aldermanic Black Caucus. Those who are present, I see Alderwoman Haddon, Alderwoman Clay, Alderwoman Taylor, Alderman Hall, and Alderwoman Harris. And then I thought I saw Chairman Vasquez around just a few moments ago. So this is not just about us. This is about all of us. Amen. So again, it is an honor to stand before you as Alderman of the 5th Ward from Chicago's amazing, wonderful, beautiful, powerful, and resilient South Side, full of communities that are rich in culture, resilience, and history. From South Shore to Woodlawn, Greater Grand Crossing, and Hyde Park. It don't get no better than that, y'all. But I'm especially proud to join you this morning as we commemorate Juneteenth, a day of reflection, resistance, and celebration, and recognize the progress of Chicago's Reparation Task Force. Today is about more than honoring freedom. It's about working together to repair the present and build a future rooted in equity, dignity, and justice. On the South Side and in Black communities across Chicago, we know firsthand what generations of systemic disinvestment have looked like. We've lived through the consequences of redlining, predatory lending, educational disparities, health disparities, mass incarceration, and unequal access to all the things. These aren't abstract policy failures. These are lived realities, etched in the daily lives of Black Chicagoans across generations. As Alderman of the 5th Ward, I've worked with the community and the city to renovate and reinvigorate our communities. In South Shore, we have a $5.5 million investment in the future home of the South Shore Chamber of Commerce. We've invested millions of dollars in Greater Grand Crossing with the Exchange Project, which is home to Chicago's 211 system and has reinvigorated a community that has long been forgotten. And I'm working to pass the South Shore Housing Ordinance, or commonly known as the South Shore CBA, so that we can protect and promote Black housing, Black home ownership, and Black folks. Continuing this work that we owe to our elders, those that marched and sacrificed on the front lines of the civil rights movement, and we owe it to the next generation, those who are stepping up into leadership, because they're looking to us to lay a foundation of justice that they can build upon. So together with my colleagues on the City Council, I look forward to working very closely with Mayor Johnson and the Mayor's Office of Equity and Racial Justice to continue advancing this mission. So in the words of Curtis Mayfield, let's keep on pushing and pushing forward, because Chicago cannot afford to simply talk about equity. We gotta live it, we have to deliver it, and we have to be it. So with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce Chief Equity Officer Carla Coupe.
All right, thank you so much, Alderman Yansi, for your kind words. Again, Mbote, as was just mentioned, my name is Carl Coupe, and I have the honor and responsibility to serve as our city's Chief Equity Officer in the Office of Equity and Racial Justice. Today, as we gather to commemorate a historic celebration that honors the long journey toward equity and dignity, we are also called to reclaim this moment together. In the face of fear and uncertainty, communities are rising with resilience, transforming adversity into action, and reclaiming that power to shape a future that is just for all. This is not new to our communities or our office. In fact, moments like today are what initiated our healing efforts. As many of you recall, in 2020, Chicago, along many other cities across the country, was suffering from the trauma on a number of fronts, including the disparate impact of COVID-19 on the Black and brown communities, and the civil unrest in the wake of the murder of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and others, and many others. The pandemic and the response to injustices revealed that the lasting impact of 400 years of racist policies that have denied people of color and their communities fair access to resources and power. Rooted in stolen land, stolen labor, and racial zero-sum thinking, these harms are still embedded in our systems today. In response, our office co-led a practice of collective healing throughout the years as part of our Together We Heal initiative. From holding community conversations to investing in community healing, we made sure to provide Chicago with tools and space for transformative healing. Our approach to the collective work of healing is very simple. Reflect on our past, reclaim our present, and reimagine our future. And our office has committed to build and strengthen sustainable community and wealth building ecosystems in Chicago throughout community wealth building initiatives that you will hear about shortly. But today, we continue our commitment to healing, equity, and power sharing, and that will never change. And I'm excited that I can continue to drive similar commitments that drive reparative and healing efforts. Last year, around this same time of the year, we announced our commitment to establish a reparations task force that will define reparations for Chicago through a comprehensive study. Acknowledging generational harm through the form of reparations is about repairing the past and reimagining tomorrow. That is why this task force will launch a study designed to lay out a clear roadmap to reparations in Chicago, a roadmap rooted in community voices and historical truth, and one that points us toward the kinds of transformative policies we need, policies that shift power to those most impacted. Now, this work is not easy, but it excites me to share this space and this responsibility with people as committed as you all here today. Thank you everyone for showing up today and every day. Let's continue to shape the future of Chicago together, one that is rooted in repair and prosperity. And now it is my honor to pass this on to the Honorable Mayor Brandon Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Grateful to be here today, and I'm grateful that all of you are joining us today on such an incredible moment in our world's history. Thank you to our Chief Equity Officer, Carla Coupe, for her leadership and her unwavering commitment to equity and justice. I'm grateful to all of the members of the City Council that are here today, the City Council's Black Caucus, to our state elected leaders, our county leaders, including grateful to have our city treasurer here, Melissa Conyers-Irvin, to all of the department leaders that are reflective of this administration. I also want to thank the Juneteenth Planning Coalition, and again, all of the city departments and community partners for joining us as we raise the Juneteenth flag. You know, Juneteenth holds great historic relevance and significance here in Chicago, but it is also significant for our entire country because it offers us an opportunity to reflect on where we've come from, but more importantly, where we're headed. You know, we often talk about being descendants of slaves, but the truth is we are descendants of free men and women who were enslaved. We are the descendants of artists and doctors and leaders and engineers and intellectuals, farmers, workers, mothers and fathers, people who were put in chains and forced to struggle for our collective freedom. We are told that Juneteenth is a holiday to celebrate those who were free. That's not entirely accurate either. As W.E.B. Du Bois taught us, as enslaved people, we fought to free ourselves. So this is just as much of a recognition as we honor our collective struggle. Here's what we did, though. We threw down our tools and we picked up arms and joined the Union Army. We fled the plantations and then we organized the most effective general strike in America's history to force the Confederacy to surrender. It is up to us to continue that ongoing struggle, to fight for the liberation that we all need and deserve. During the Great Migration, my family, like many other families, came to the North and landed in the city called Chicago and fought to secure a better life for posterity. And because of that sacrifice and hard work, we are leading the third largest city in the entire country. Our work is paying off. Juneteenth is a reminder that freedom is a constant struggle. The second that we stop fighting for it, we will lose it. And during the first year of my administration, I made it very clear, made a promise to drive reparations and become the first mayor in the city of Chicago to actually dedicating funding to that endeavor. Reparations is not just an acknowledgement of our past. Reparations is an acknowledgement of the past sins and how it's more important now than ever that we continue to fight for complete liberation. But we see the sins of the past and the vestiges of slavery still seep its way through our economy and through government. We see it more clearly now than ever before. The legacy of slavery in America is obvious to anyone who actually cares to pay attention. The Confederacy is certainly alive, and we can feel and see the pulse of the Confederacy manifest in the Donald Trump administration. But we also can feel the heartbeat of America that still beats for justice. The heartbeat for justice still remains strong. We saw it this weekend with millions of people taking it to the streets to fight for justice. We see it in the faith leaders who are standing up for the basic tenets of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We see it in the diversity of our strength. We see it in the unity and the power that we are fully embracing today. Because diversity is truly our strength. Unity is the most powerful weapon in the face of hate and division. And that's why I was proud to have signed the Executive Order 2024-1, establishing a reparations task force to develop a Black reparations agenda. The Reparations Task Force will be responsible for producing not just a study for reparations, but it will outline remedies for repair, focus on wealth building, housing, education, health equity, and so much more. And we are proud that this week we will be announcing the Chicagoans who will serve on that task force. Together, we will define a bold and just reparations roadmap for all of Chicago. I do understand that there are members of the task force, some of whom that are here today. They're here this morning in show of their complete support of this effort. Could you all who are part of the task force just stand up so that you can be acknowledged for your dedication and services? Please give these incredible Chicagoans a round of applause. I want to be very clear here. When we talk about reparations, we are not talking about something that is far off in the distant future. There is work we can do today to repair the harms of the past and build a better future for posterity. We know that historic disinvestment by government and private sector has left too many of our communities, particularly the South and West Side neighborhoods, without control of the assets in our own communities, excluding us from wealth building and opportunities. And that is why today, in collaboration with the Department of Planning and Development, under the leadership of Commissioner Sierra Boatwright, we are proud to announce a historic $4 million investment into community wealth building in the greatest city in the world, the city of Chicago. The Wealth Our Way Capital Grant Program. It will be administered by Community Desk Chicago. It will fund community-driven wealth building models designed by the very communities that they serve. With up to $500,000 in capital grants per project and $3.5 million reserved for shared ownership models, the investment will put economic power directly in the hands of the community that have been affected by historic slavery. The impact of this initiative will be momentous. It will reduce blighted and abandoned buildings along commercial corridors on the south and west sides, while also creating safer and more walkable communities. Local ownership will give residents more control over the product and services entering in our communities. And worker co-op businesses will provide a path for generational wealth, helping employ people from around the city, but it will also help employees become owners and creators of wealth that they can pass on to the next generation. Wealth Our Way will bring us closer to building the Chicago that our ancestors dreamed of. So please join me in recognizing and celebrating Community Desk Chicago President and CEO, Janae DeFell. Thank you, Janae, and the tremendous support that Wealth Our Way will bring to Black residents in reclaiming ownership of our own communities. That is the spirit of Juneteenth, you all. It is about reflecting on our past. Other cultures are taught to never forget. We need to be reminded as Blacks here in Chicago and America, remembering our past and working towards a more just future. Investing in Black is not a criminal act. Sister Zakiya says she need a witness, so I'm gonna say it again. Investing in Black is not a criminal act. So good to have your own Amen Corner show up right across from City Hall. I need you on Wednesdays, Zakiya. So today we celebrate, we acknowledge Juneteenth. But let us continue to do the work to create a Chicago that is just for all. We are building the safest, most affordable big city in America, and we're doing it together. So in conclusion, I do want to recognize the three amazing leaders that have already left lasting contributions to our communities. I want to thank again Ms. Cassopia, Brother Pimone, and my fellow West Sider and dear friend, Ms. Carol Johnson, for their dedication and commitment to our city. Come on, Chicago, please join me in celebrating these three incredible leaders.
For those of you who are able, please stand for the singing of the anthem of Lift Every Voice, performed by Ms. Michelle. Thank you.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
That concludes our Juneteenth flag raising ceremony. We thank you for your attendance. We thank you for your spirit. We pray that you carry this spirit on with you today and every day as we remember who we are and we pave better pathways, not just for Black folks, but for all of us. Thank you.